Guys, Jack Cypher here, and today we're going to be ranking the 7 Warlords of the Sea, all 11 of them. Like my last video, I expect this to be very controversial. The Warlords are very hard to rank because we're missing a lot of information on most of them. The middle section of this list in particular is very difficult to rank. There's 4 spots that could all be interchangeable. It's for that reason that I want you to leave your rankings down in the comments to see where we agree to disagree. And also, this is going to contain current manga events, so if you don't want any spoilers, then feel free to click off the video. But for right now, let's get on with the ranking. At 11th spot is an obvious one, but it's the jester god himself, Buggy the Clown. Now, Buggy is pretty much a gag character, and while his luck and cunning has gotten him as far as he has in the manga, it's very clear that everyone else on this list is miles stronger than him. I would actually be interested in doing a video on how strong Buggy actually is, because he's not just fodder, and does have a few feats. I might wait until we see more of what he's capable of, but for right now, he sits in our last place. In 10th spot, we have the Shadow King himself, Gekko Moria. Now, I think these bottom 2 positions are fairly predictable. I actually don't hate Moria like a lot of people do. I feel like he's a bit of an underrated villain. He was beating a Luffy that just took down Rob Lucci, and with the help of his zombie oars, he took on the whole Straw Hat crew. He even survived a fight against Kaido. But the simple truth is that his fellow warlords just have much better showings. He gets beat by both Jimbei and Doflamingo, and Crocodile, Kuma, and Hancock just outscale the slothful necromancer. Now, 9th spot was probably the most difficult to rank, and it's the self-proclaimed son of Whitebeard, Edward Weevil. Now, Weevil is in this spot all because he just doesn't have enough feats. We just don't know enough about him. He's only showed up a few times. What we do know about him though is impressive. He had a large bounty before he joined the Warlords. He defeated the Marines that were sent to capture him following the Warlords being abolished. It would be fair to assume that there were 1 or 2 Vice Admirals in that fleet. He also defeated some of Whitebeard's allied captains. No small accomplishment. In the current manga, he just got defeated and captured by Admiral Kugo. But that's not really a slight. We just discussed in our last video how powerful the admirals are. Something else we learned in the manga is that he very well could be a clone of Whitebeard. Now, if that's true, and he possesses some of Prime Whitebeard's strength, then he could be much higher up on this list. But for now, that's just speculation. The main thing that keeps him so down on this list, though, is his intelligence. Let's be honest, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and the warlords above him could make up for any potential power differences with their intelligence to get around Weevil. Now, this is where we get into the really hard hitters, as well as the hardest section to rank. The next 5, in my opinion, are all interchangeable, but I'll explain the best I can why I've ordered them like this. In 8th spot is the most beautiful woman in the world and pirate empress, Boa Hancock. Now, this pains me so much putting her this low. Trust me, I relate to your outrage. Hancock is my favourite female character in One Piece, and one of my favourite female characters in all of anime. She's definitely my waifu. Let me explain why I've put her so low. It's honestly the same as Weevil. We just don't see enough. She's easily handling high vice admirals like Momomonga and Smoker. She makes the pacifistas look like absolute fodder, and in the current manga, she takes down 2 of Blackbeard's commanders. These are great feats, and much better than all that came before her. Blackbeard did take her down fairly easily, but that is pretty much because of hacks. She had a good showing in Stampede, but we're not counting that as canon. I do believe she very well could be stronger than this, but the characters higher than her just have more proper evidence hinting at that. And since we're on that point, 7th spot belongs to the Desert King himself, Sir Crocodile. Now, if you've watched my character analysis on him, then you must know that Crocodile is one of my favourite characters of all time. To be honest, all of the Warlords are some of my favourite characters ever. The group is so amazing, up there with the Akatsuki, the Phantom Troop, and the Espada of best anime groups. But back to Crocodile, I know he lost a pre-time skip Luffy, but that doesn't mean too much. You can make many theories on why Crocodile didn't use Haki in that showing, but if we're being honest, then the answer is just that Oda wasn't 100% sure if Haki was going to be a mainstream thing. He's even mentioned that he regretted introducing Crocodile so soon into the story, implying to me at least that this is a character that he really likes. And that shows when you see his feats once he enters the War of the Best. He tanks hits from one of Whitebeard's commanders, Diamond Jozu, someone renowned for his strength. He battles both Doflamingo and Mihawk. He even challenges Akainu and walks away from it. Not to mention in his youth, he even survived against Whitebeard. There are 2 more reasons why I've put him this high, and honestly these reasons could potentially put him even higher, but I understand that it's all just circumstantial. The first is that his bounty is nearly 2 freaking billion. That's way higher than any Yonko commander, by a lot. Now, I completely understand that bounties don't always relate to strength. I've heard some people say it's because of his intelligence, but I don't reckon the government gives out $2 billion bounties over just intelligence. He's not Aizen. I think Oda has seriously given him a power boost, and he's done some crazy stuff over the 2-year time skip. The other reason is that Mihawk accepts to work with him. I don't see Mihawk working with anyone he deems unworthy. I reckon Crocodile is incredibly powerful. Honestly, I even want to put him higher. Now, 6th spot is another pirate to take over a nation, and it's the heavenly demon himself, Don Quixote Doflamingo. First off, does Dophi not have the best epithet of any character in fiction or what? Now, you should all know why he's so high. He easily took control over Jozu, he defeated Moria, he fought Crocodile, he beat Vice Admiral Smoker and his allies, he participated in a 3-way battle between himself, Law and Fujitora, he beat Law in a 1v1 fight, and fought both Luffy and Law at the same time. He has incredible versatility and deadly techniques, and has an island level AP attack for good measure. All very impressive feats. He is an absolute beast, and the reason he's ranked below number 5, well, let's just get on to that. 5th spot goes to the first son of the sea, Jimbei. Before I get into his feats, the main reason he's above Dophi is because Doflamingo seems absolutely terrified of Kaido. I mean, who can blame him, to be honest? But Jimbei shows no fear against Big Mom, and even attacks her. He also takes out Who's Who, probably the strongest member of the Tobiropo. He outscales Haughty. To be fair, not that impressive, but it's still a feat. He also battles Mihawk and Akainu, and defeats Moria with ease. Simply put, he's a complete monster. Fun fact, he was also the first ever mentioned warlord in the series. Something else I should mention, he's also probably my favourite Straw Hat. But bet you guys don't hear that very much. I'm looking forward to doing a video on him in the future. But for right now, 4th spot goes to the kindly tyrant, Bartholomew Kuma. Now, this is probably the only character on the list who isn't here based off sheer feats. He does have some which are defeating the whole pre-time skip Straw Hat crew twice. This feat, though, is kind of tainted a bit, considering that both times they were already injured. But other than that, he was incredibly high up in the Revolutionary Army, and was so strong that Vegapunk decided to make him the model for all the PX experiments. I'm not including anything that happened after him becoming PX0, because I don't believe that's his true strength, given that he's lost his will. Now, these are all impressive feats, but not good enough to be this high up. The reason he's so high, though, is because of how sheer broken his devil fruit is. The Paw fruit is absolutely insane. He can move at light speed. If you want to downplay that, that's fine, but at the very least, he's most likely the second fastest character in the series, behind Kizaru. He can shoot off shockwaves. He has island level AP. He can repel all attacks. He can repel conceptual things like pain and memories. There's no telling what else. And he also has basically an instant win move where he can just touch someone and send them away. And we don't even know the true limits of that technique. Basically, it's just hideously overpowered, and I truly believe he's going to be this powerful, if not more powerful. But I do understand that this is 100% just my opinion. So if you have used only feats to rank the Warlords, I can understand why he's further down on your list. But now, let's get down to the top 3. At 3rd place, we have the Surgeon of Death, Trafalgar D. Water Law. Now, how can Law be so high when Dophi took him out? Well, Law's significantly powered up since then, and has a lot of impressive feats. To name a few, he took down 2 high-level Vice Admirals in Smoker and Virgo. He was able to seriously injure Dophi in their fight, and in Wano, he was part of the battle with Kaido, and fought and defeated Big Mum with the help of Kid. Now, these last 2 feats are insane. Definitely the greatest we've seen so far in this list. He's also recently battled Blackbeard in a fight. We don't know the conclusion on that yet, but me and many fans do believe that Blackbeard may have gotten the better of him there. And speaking of Blackbeard, 2nd spot is the Yonko Marshall D. Teach, or most commonly known as Blackbeard. Despite appearances, he's actually surprisingly very impressive with trickery and cunning. He was able to acquire the power of both the Dark Fruit and the Tremor Fruit, 2 of the most powerful devil fruits in the series. And with their power, he became one of the 4 emperors. Some of his feats are that he defeated Porcus D. Ace. With the help of his crew, he killed an injured Whitebeard. Over the 2-year time skip, he defeated the rest of the Whitebeard crew, led by Marco the Phoenix. He beat Hancock, and it appears that he may have defeated Law. And before gaining his 2 devil fruits, he was able to injure Shanks. Now, he does have some bad feats against him. He and his crew got completely taken out by Magellan in seconds, and he gets caught off guard a lot due to his arrogance. Despite moments of foolishness, he can be very cunning and calculated when he wants to be, especially when it comes to planning future events. Now, if a Yonko is only 2nd, then who the hell is 1st? Well, it shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of you, but in 1st place is the greatest swordsman in the world, Hawkeye Mihawk. Now, his name alone speaks for himself. He's the greatest swordsman in the world. That feat alone puts him above tons of characters in One Piece. But honestly, there's only one feat I need to state, and that's that he beat red-haired Shanks in a sword fight. This alone pretty much puts him higher than anyone. While I'm not sure if Mihawk is stronger than Shanks, because we're not sure on what their duel truly entailed, I would definitely say that they're near absolute even. And even if Blackbeard did have better stats than Mihawk, I reckon Mihawk would be able to make up for it with his intelligence. I just don't see anyone on this list being able to stop him. He's definitely a Yonko level pirate. Now that wraps up this ranking. I had a really good time ranking these characters and analysing where each one needed to go. I think ranking and top 10s are my favourite type of videos to make. But let me know down in the comments what you think about it all. Do you agree or disagree with me? And would you like to see more ranking content? Now that will be all for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But for right now, I've been Jack Cypher. Cypher out.